Hi everyone, this is your pick a card reading for your 3 best and 3 worst traits. So we're going to see what is coming through and what messages I can give to you as well. We've got these 4 beautiful groups. So we've got group 1, group 2, sorry, I do apologise, it's not exactly in the middle. Group 1, group 2, group 3 and group 4. So take a pick as to which one you are most drawn to, and that will be the reading for you. And also, I do want to mention as well, if you'd like to win a free reading with me, all the info is in the description box below, and the timestamps for each of these readings is also in the description box below, so you can go to the description box, click on the group that you're really interested in viewing, and you will essentially be taken to your reading, which you can sit back, kick back and relax and watch the reading. So yeah, so if you'd like to win a free reading with me, information is in the description box below. If you'd like to purchase a private paid reading with me, information is also down below as well. They're done within 24 to 48 hours. And the last thing I want to mention is my intention items are on Etsy. So I'm sure many of you know this by now, but if you're new, hello, welcome. I have an intention item store on Etsy where I make handmade items. So these are a few of the bracelets on there. There's also crystals, necklaces, anklets, and then there's also these bracelets. There's also embroidered cards which you can put under your pillow, in your wallet or your purse. I can just show you one of those, for example. So this one of them, ta-da, completely hand embroidered. And I'm wearing some of the bracelets. I'm wearing an evil eye one, a crystal gem healing bracelet, and also an angel bracelet as well. So these are all meditated with, they're sage, they're there to remove obstacles and challenges from different areas of your life. There's so many different varieties on my Etsy store for different, there's chakra bracelets, there's health and happiness, confidence, love, like so many different areas. And they're meditated with, they're saged, international shipping. If you want to see the reviews to see how other people have seen results with these bracelets, then definitely do check out my Etsy store. And of course, all of the information is down below as well. Alright, so we are gonna get started. Let's get this party started. Well, it's a spiritual pick a card party, so let's go to group number 1. Okay. Alright, group number 1. Your 3 best and 3 worst traits. We are going to take a look, see what is coming through, what messages I can give to you. Alright, so I've got a star here, and then this is essentially a decorative piece. I'm going to put that there. It's a beautiful, like a little basket, which I think is rather cute, adorable. So we've got here the Chariot, the World, I know I said 3 best and 3 worst, but I can definitely think of way more than 3. So just by looking at this, so you got Chariot, the World card, Sun card, Magician, the Star. Wow, that's a lot of major arcanas there. Add to it even more, you got Death. You've got here the Queen of Wands. You got the Two of Pentacles, and also the Queen of Wands as well. You know what's really interesting is I have a feeling this group has an extra card that's been placed in it, which has just happened. I think that is, when it happens, it just happens. So, you've got I believe, anyways, we'll see what actually the deal is with the other groups. I always try to put an equal amount of cards, but sometimes it just happens where one group might just accidentally have an extra one. So, I'm actually going to move this to the side so I can just push these forward as well, put the star in the middle, like so, ta-da. I should have just called this reading your best and your worst traits, in all honesty, but yeah. So one thing here is that you may have difficulty dealing with change. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's like a really bad trait, but it can be difficult to adjust, right? It's one thing that definitely is coming through, is that it can be really hard to deal with change, or at least at first it can seem super uneasy, and this can emotionally be very, very overwhelming, especially with the Death card. So what I will say is that I feel personally that you have this beautiful energy. You have amazing qualities, and I feel like a lot of this is because you like your environment, you want to thrive in your environment, and once you finally feel comfortable in your environment, breaking that cycle, breaking that routine, right? This is the World card showing that. The World card is about structure, the World card is about your personal routine. Breaking that often becomes very, very difficult. So it can be, very, very challenging in that sense to move and to have something completely different, which can be uncertain. So I feel like uncertainty is something that you struggle with. It is something that is just, it's a little bit overwhelming emotionally as well. Now, what I would say to counteract that into one of your best traits is the fact that you're someone that can heal, you're someone that can adjust, and you are someone with time that can get used to things. Not in a bad way or anything, but you can adjust to your surroundings, you can feel much more balanced, and you can feel comfortable, in situations and scenarios. So as much as you may feel like, wow, it takes you out of your comfort zone, I feel like it elevates you. It elevates you onto new ground where you just feel so much more confident and comfortable within yourself. So as much as change can be really difficult for you, it's almost like it elevates you to a new level, and it can just give you so much. Now, I feel like we're one in one, for best and worst, even though it's not really a bad thing. I mean, but the other thing here as well is that you may, I want to say a good trait is that I really do feel that you're someone that you have a lot of ability to heal people, especially with the Star card. I just keep looking at it and I keep thinking wow, it's so nourishing. To me, the traits that I'm seeing here are very, very really strong. They're beautiful traits that you would find in someone who is just so kind and caring and gentle and loyal and loving. Look, I knew I was going to name a lot more traits, right? And you can be quite, possessive over the things that you really enjoy doing or the people that you love. And that's the thing. Now, whether you take that as a negative or a positive, I mean, those things can be taken as negative, they can be taken as positive. I wouldn't say that they're the worst things in the world, but you might just feel really possessive, and you might feel like you want to control things, or at least you want to control your routine, you want to know what's always going to happen next. That can also be taken as a positive and a negative as well, right? Because controlling things and wanting to know always what's going to happen next can be very restricting, right? So then when change does happen, it can feel whoa, no, I'm out of control, I don't know what's happening. It can just feel a lot, right? But then you grow and you move from that. So I know this reading is for 3 best and 3 worst traits, but let me just be very, very clear. A lot more information is naturally coming out, and I don't think I necessarily expected this, but I love it. I love it when I sit down and do a reading and just so much information comes pouring out. To me, I just feel like that's the power of tarot, and that is tarot saying, hey, look, you put a little bit of a limit on things, but actually we're going to broaden the horizon completely, and I think that's just amazing. So one of your amazing traits here is balance, right? You are very, very balanced, but you also may take on a lot more than you can handle, and that can also be very overwhelming. Okay, now is that necessarily again a bad thing? No, but it can be, right? Especially if you take on so much that you can't handle it. It can be very, very burdening. It can just feel so much that you may feel like you're going to burn out. So what I would say is be careful on how much you take on board. This can be emotionally, this can be projects, this can be also friendships as well, because you may feel that the more you have, the more rocky the waters get in the background, the more it's difficult to keep up with that as well. So Queen of Wands here shows lots of creativity. I feel like you're a creative person, and I feel like that again is just a really wonderful, wonderful energy that is present. I think it's really nice. I really very much so feel that this is, very, very strong. I also feel like you like your space and your own energy, and that's something that you don't always like to give in or compromise on necessarily. I mean, you love the people around you, you want the best for them always, but I definitely feel like your space and your time and your energy is very precious. So one thing you absolutely can't stand is when people waste time or waste time on you. It's something that you absolutely hate. Absolutely hate. So we're just gonna leave it at that. I mean, what more can I say, right? In terms of, no, I'm not leaving the reading, I'm leaving the phrase that I mentioned. I really do believe here that when you are so kind and so generous, that there can be some bad traits that come off that. You know, people can use your energy, people can take advantage of you, people can try and disrupt your sort of happiness, or you can get so comfortable in certain situations that when it comes to change, it can be very hard to deal with change. So I would say that those are more of like the negative sides of things, because it can be, you know, very, very difficult. And I also see here attachment, like you can get attached to certain things or certain people, and then when it comes time of letting those things go, it can just be so difficult. It feels like either it can feel so dramatic, or it can just feel like, wow, okay, this is a lot to handle right now. I don't know if I can do it. And it can replay in your mind over and over again. As we see with the magician, right? You may find that you're an overthinker. You may find that you like think about things constantly to the point where it might drive you in circles, or at least a little bit more so drive you insane, which I know it sounds really crazy. I'm not saying that you're a crazy person or anything like that. It's just mainly overthinking and overanalyzing, as I see. You know, with the magician, you've got the infinity symbol above the mind. What this signifies is a very, very strong, potent energy in regards to like just going back and forth, thinking about the same thing over and over again. You may just feel like you're driving yourself in circles at times. So it can just feel like a lot. But what I would say on the flip side to that, a really good trait is the fact that you can think and you are able to make really, really good, rational, what's the word? It's like pros and cons, right? You're able to think on both sides, and you are someone that always tries to make things happen. Like if you want something to happen, you will go out of your way to make it happen. You're not just someone that's stuck in a box. You will always try to make it happen. You're someone that likes to explore, as I see with the Chariot. You're someone that's very considerate, kind, caring, and very, very dedicated. You're a very good friend, but I do feel that you also would, you know, you make a good partner. That's the thing. Whether you're with someone or not, you make a very good partner. But again, there's this energy of like not being able to deal too well with change, and also not being able to deal too well with death. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That is something that I think everyone deals with on very, very different levels personally, and I would never say that that is, you know, a negative trait, because it's something that happens. It just happens, right? Death is just something that happens, and dealing with it, of course, is extremely, extremely difficult for so many people. But yes, dealing with change, I think, is really, really hard for you. And, you know, this can also be like moving, or when you outgrow certain things, or you have to let go of certain objects and items, that are sentimental to you, it can be very, very hard, because you're someone that really just, you hold on to goodness, and things mean a lot to you. And sometimes that can be a bad thing, you know, because if there are certain things that mean too much to you, or you lose them, or things like that, it can feel like, you know, your world is over. Like, it can be feeling quite dramatic, but that's because you care. That's because you care. And I would just say that in today's world, caring is actually a really good thing. Like, I really feel it, you know, because you care, you have value for things in life. So again, it's not a bad thing, but you see how some of these things can also have like, I wouldn't say it's like worse traits, but like negative aspects to it as well, where when you care too much, people can take advantage. And when you give so much of your time, people can take, you know, advantage of that as well. Dealing with change can be really beautiful, but it can also feel really burdening to you as well. It can just feel really heavy. Yeah, so I really feel like you are someone that can be a really amazing healer as well, because you have such great energy in terms of what your values stand for as well, especially the Star card. I'm seeing like you could be really good with Reiki healing as well, like energy transfer, because you have such amazing energy. And also the Chariot here is incredible, because I really feel like the Chariot here signifies like growth and movement, and I feel like the negative aspect of this is only you can hinder your own personal growth by not wanting to step out of the comfort zone. So it's just something to, again, keep in mind as well, because the world here shows you like your own bubble, and oftentimes you find it hard to move out of your bubble. But also amazing things can happen outside of your comfort zone, especially with the Death card, right? Death and rebirth, lots of growth, lots of progression, like really amazing things can take place, lots of amazing things can happen. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think that this is really beautiful to be able to see in a reading. I just think that it's quite uplifting as well. So yeah, I'd say it's a really nice thing, like for sure. I feel like this is really lovely. Okay, so that is what we have, group number 1, your best and worst traits. So yeah, this is essentially your reading. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Do check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, all the intention items, all that stuff is also down below as well. And do take care. Alright, so we move on from group number 1. Did I say group number 3? No, I swear I said group number 1, right? Oh dear. Okay. Group number 2, this is your reading for your 3 best and 3 worst traits. And you know what I realised? I realised that actually I'm going to give you probably a lot more than 3. I know that sounds really overwhelming, like, Moonlight, you're going to tell me more than 3 of my worst traits? I don't necessarily feel like they're probably going to be like your worst traits for some reason, but I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot of information that comes out that is definitely going to go over like 3, the number 3. So it's just something I'm going to mention, okay? Even though the reading says 3 best and 3 worst traits, there's going to be a lot more that comes out. So, you know, take it as you will. So we've got some flowers here, which I think are really beautiful. That's more so for decoration. I'm going to leave the angel crystal at the bottom. It's really beautiful. Ooh, Empress. Sorry, I just got really excited by the Empress. I like the Empress for sure. We've got the 7 of Cups here. We've got the 3 of Pentacles. Oh, wow. You are a hard-working member. High Priestess. King of Cups. Strength card. 5 of Pentacles. And the Hermit. Okay. Wow. You know what this is? This is such a classic case of someone... did I just say that? Classic case? What I really meant by that is that you are someone that is a classic, right? You're classic, which means it's like a record, you know, it's just so beautiful to look at, but it's also so functional, you know, the records that you get, which you, yeah, so musical records. So that's what I mean by that, is that you're a classic. I'm not trying to say that, oh, you're just like normal, or like, I didn't mean that in any way, shape or form like that, but it's like you're a classic. And what I mean by that is you're someone that is just so, and I will say you're super rare, like very, very rare to find, especially in this day and age where people are very, very, I mean, a lot of people are very egoistic. They want what they want, and they will be ready to push other people out just to get what they want. I don't see you like that. I see you as someone that, you know what, you do as much as you can also for others, and that is the Empress really speaking. So whether you're male or female, I just want you to know that you come across as an extremely loving person that someone would look at and be like, wow, you're such a good person. You know, you're a classic. You just never, you're so timeless in that sense, which is incredible. Now, it can also mean, right, in that sense, because I said timeless, that you perhaps look younger for your age as well, which, you know, is not a bad thing. But, you know, if you feel like you look older than your age, don't take it as a bad thing, because it just means that you have this really beautiful heart as well, which is just so, like, kind and caring as well. It's very timeless, you know. It's what, like, one of those energies, like, wow, you know, people should be like this more often. It's that kind of a vibe that I see people picking up on when they're around you. They just think like, wow, I wish more people were like you. It's that kind of vibe. Like, you can see how just immediately uplifting that is. So the Empress here shows that you're very loving, you're very kind, and you're very nurturing. You're such a good person. Now, what this means on the flip side is something negative, is that you can be taken advantage of. You can be, I feel like you're an empath. I feel like you're definitely very, very spiritual, or at least you possess a lot of qualities that can make you very, very spiritual, in the sense that some people, they don't really believe in spirituality, but they possess a lot of qualities that can really elevate them on a spiritual level, because they possess so many of those qualities, they just haven't explored them. So it's one of those things here where I feel like you're a very spiritual person. You understand yourself, you understand, I mean, you might even be so like into tarot and astrology and things like that, right? So to me, the High Priestess here speaks of strong spirituality. and that really can elevate multiple areas of your life. And also, it can really boost your energy as well, especially if you find that you're such a caring person to the point where people take advantage of you and leave you out in the cold and just feel like they can deal with you however they want. I definitely do feel that the High Priestess here shows that spirituality can allow you to balance your energies and your emotions and make you feel so much better. So it's just something to really point out. The Empress here, sorry, I keep talking about the Empress, but I like the Empress a lot. Empress is Venus energy, which shows that you bring so much love to people. But oftentimes, yes, those people can see you as someone that's really amazing and very rare and genuine and classic, but oftentimes with other people, what can happen is that they can feel that that's too much. You know what I mean? So they might think that, oh, it's a little bit much. And then as those people grow and evolve, they'll realize that actually it's not too much. It's simply a problem with their standards. Okay, so don't ever take it as a bad thing when someone rejects you in that sense. It just means that they're not opened to the goodness that you possess. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple, and it's literally like that. Okay, it's plain and simple. They just simply don't understand that. Okay, so if you think to yourself like, oh, I'm such a good person, and yet people are doing this to me and doing that to me, why? It's because they don't understand it. But the people that do understand it, oh, they know. They know that you are genuine and amazing, and that's their problem to deal with. I believe in that. It's their problem to deal with, the fact that they would cause you this sort of like abandoned energy where you'd feel, oh, I feel so lost, I feel so left out, I feel left in the cold, right? Or left out in the cold. Hermit here shows a lot of overthinking, and naturally, I think with the Hermit as well, what's really, really important is the fact that you are able to think things through. Again, I don't feel like it's a bad thing, but when someone does think too much, it can become very overwhelming. Right, so it kind of goes as like some of the best traits we can have can also be our worst enemy. More so, I wouldn't say again that it's like the most negative thing in the world, right? But when we have all of these traits, they can be taken on the opposite side as well. So, say for example, right, and this is just an analogy, some of the best things can be the worst things. For example, I think, traveling is an amazing thing, for example. But traveling can also have its sort of like cons, like you can get tired, you can very much so meet the wrong people, you get taken advantage of in certain places, and because you don't know how to navigate around there, you might get ripped off because you don't know perhaps the language, or you don't know how it works. But traveling can also be so fulfilling, and it can give so much. It can give so much depth that you may not ever be able to receive in any other, like in other way. It can be so fulfilling, but also it can be draining. It can be very like you might run into some issues, challenges, delays, for example. So you see how one thing can have sort of lots of different meanings, but it's how we also take things on board. So it's about also using your weaknesses as strengths, because I feel like your so-called worst traits are not actually that bad. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're a strong person that has the ability to overcome obstacles and challenges. You have the ability, I feel, to also heal people. You have the ability to really understand other people, and that also comes through on a career level as well, especially with the Three of Pentacles. This is teamwork and collaboration. You have the ability to understand your friends and your family members and people around you. You just have this very understanding ability. It's almost like you're an empath, and you can just feel people's energies, and you just understand where they're coming from. So you have a lot of empathy towards people. You have a really big heart, and it's something that is just very, very natural to you. You don't even feel forced to do it. It just happens. And so when you see someone in need, it's like you really want to help that person, but that person can be a bit standoffish, especially if you don't know them too well and things like that. But don't take it personally. That's the thing, is that from time to time, I do feel that you may take things like really, really personally, and that's because you're a human being, but it can really affect you, and it can make you just feel so abandoned, left out in the cold. It can just make you feel awful. So what I would say is, to deal with that, what I would say is, try and use spirituality like as a tool. I mean, that's the thing I would say. Meditation, yoga, journaling. I mean, those are also forms of mindfulness as well, which I think can be so amazing and so good for you. The Hermit as well really does show just a really like strong and potent energy of, because of course it's ruled by Virgo, a very, very strong, powerful energy of, overthinking, but also just thinking in a rational manner, like using your light to guide you. So I do feel that you have some amazing qualities where you are someone that can think about things and go and do them. You try not to hold back on things. If you have a vision, like, I see you have big dreams, okay, and that's not a bad thing at all. You'd be so good at law of attraction if you're not already doing it. Highly recommend it, because you can quite literally manifest the life of your dreams with spirituality and the law of attraction and the love that you have and the drive that you have and the strength that you have. It's just about that energy of making sure that you don't let other people's energy or negative energy affect you to the point where you then want to give up. Because the Five of Pentacles here shows that. It shows that energy of being really affected by other people's energies and thinking so much to the point where it can cause you additional stress. It can really cause you so much energy to the point where you might be like, oh no, I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like what I'm doing. It's too much. I'm doing, and I'm always giving, and I'm always this, and it never works out. Why, universe? Oh, trust me, it does work out. It just is the fact that is a quality and a trait that I feel that you have, where you think so much. And look, I'm not saying that again, that is a bad thing. Look, I just want to say, hey, I'm a Virgo sun. I am a real life hermit, and I will say it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the worst thing for me personally, and yes, I am going to mention this because I feel like it may really resonate with some of you, is that when you start to overthink, it's like it can feel like nobody really understands that, right? It can feel like, wow, am I the only one like thinking extra about this? Is no one else really thinking or overthinking like I am? Like, I know I'm talking to you, and many of you will resonate and you'll be like, oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But for a lot of people on this planet, they will think about things once and they won't think about them that much again. And it's just a thing, right? We're all so different, and that is the power and the beauty of our brain and our energy. But the reason why you think so much is because you care, and you're also a very spiritual person. See, spiritual people tend to have a lot more, I wouldn't say like a lot more care, because that's not really the right word, and there are so many people that are not spiritual that also have lots of care, but it's more so this energy of they really want to lift themselves and lift others and lift scenarios and situations in a way where it benefits them, in a way where they can implement it into their routine. And that's the thing with also empaths as well, is that they feel everything. Okay, they feel every little detail, and so when someone does do something that is unfavorable, they can feel that 10 times more. It feels like a punch. And that's what I would say, is it's really about controlling the emotions, because the King of Cups here shows you have a lot of emotions, you have a lot of in-depth feelings. It's like the ocean. Think about how vast the ocean is. Imagine that those are your feelings. Okay, don't get overwhelmed by that, just want to, say, but it can feel like it's just so much and it's just never ending and it's a lot to deal with. So what I would say is that it's about knowing that you're in control of things. And when you know that you're in control of things, I think that just makes so much better. Like the moon, okay? The moon is in control of the water, ta-da! Or the oceans, at least, or the tides. So where was I going with this? Essentially, know that you do have control, right? You can't control other people's energies and feelings, and you may feel at times you want to control that, so you can have a grasp of that, or you may at least feel like you constantly want to heal and help people that at times are very damaged or very broken, but just know that you can't control them, you can't work and fix things out for them. So again, that can be sort of like this more negative energy, where, not negative energy, but like a negative trait, which can actually be a very helpful trait, but it can be taken as negative by other people, where you may feel like you want to heal broken people, you want to fix certain things in people that they don't understand for themselves. But of course, that's not really your place to do so unless that person asks you for that advice and for that energy. But you would be an amazing spiritual person, or at least a very good healer, or someone who has the ability to understand other people. And especially with the Strength card, healing is definitely coming through quite significantly. So yeah, you may feel like you just want to really help people that don't want it. You know what I mean? So it can be really frustrating for sure on that level. So that is essentially your reading group number 2 for best and worst traits. I know I said like 3. I probably covered 3, right? 3 best and 3 worst. But there's definitely a lot more best than there is worst. And what I would say is sometimes, you know, our best traits can also be our worst enemies, you know, especially with a habit. I mean, sometimes we can really be doing like a lot of overthinking, which can be amazing because, you know, sometimes we can remember things that perhaps we forgot during the day. We might be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that overthinking because I remembered I need to do this and I need to do that. Or you may just realize thoughts that you didn't have on certain topics, and it can be really amazing and so eye-opening. But at the same time, it can just make us feel like we're like doing so much to the point where it's draining us. So, you know, it's one of those things. And I'd say also use your weaknesses to your strengths, because that's what I'm seeing here. Like, your weaknesses can be your strengths. So yeah, that is what we have. But actually very spiritual, we've also got the angel there as well. So this is your reading group number 2. Now if this resonates with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and do check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, and of course my intention items, which are on Etsy and do take care. So I've got those right there. Alright, cool, let's move along. Move on up, do. If anyone is watching in between, they're going to be like, what? I love that song so much, by Curtis Mayfield. Move on up. It's such a positive energy, positive song as well. Ah, my moon just doesn't want to stay. Okay, there we go. Move on up, do. Okay. Group number 3, this is your reading. So, hello, how are you? I hope you are doing well. This is your reading for 3 best and 3 worst traits. I will say, I think more than 3 is definitely going to come out. A lot of information is going to surround the reading. So, we've got the moon crystal right there. This is purely for decorative purposes. It's a little bunch of flowers. Super cute. Very pretty. Okay, so let's get into this and see. 3 best and 3 worst traits. I have a feeling more will come out naturally, but we were just aiming for a base, so you know what you can expect in this reading. So 4 of Pentacles, we've got also the 6 of Pentacles. You know, the moon doesn't really want to stay. It was something I noticed is actually, interestingly enough, got a lot of green. Okay, well maybe not that much green, but still we've got a lot of green here. Queen of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles. You've got the 2 of Swords, 10 of Cups, Judgment and Justice. Okay, here's my question to you. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you indecisive? Tell me, please. Tell me. Does it take you time to make a decision? Because as much as I'm seeing actually you're really good at making decisions, you may feel like you are so indecisive to the point where you're like, no, you make the decision for me. Or you may look to tarot, or for example, you may look to others to try and help you in your decisions. Although I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, because you're looking for a perspective on something that you clearly are undecided about, rather than just jumping to a conclusion without being too sure about it. I really feel like you're the kind of person that needs to be sure about making a decision before you make the decision. Otherwise, I feel like you may be filled with a lot of regret. And even if you feel like you make the wrong decision, I do feel that at times you can have some regret as well, because the 2 of Swords shows this energy of really like just being unsure. Okay, I'm not going to say that in a bad way, because I feel like indecision can also be a good thing, but you know, in this sense, it can just feel like it's a lot. You know, it can just feel like, oh, I wish I could just make decisions, I wish I could just make choices. Well, let me just say, you can make decisions, and you are good at making decisions. And one thing I will share is that the spirit guides here are saying that listen to the divine voice within you. Don't listen to your ego and your mind when you're trying to make a really important decision that you want to make from your heart. It's really about listening to what your heart says, because your heart knows the right answer. So what I would say is listen to the divine and the voice. You can also pray to your angels and your guides, and they will give you answers. So for example, if you're looking for a yes or no on something, or you're simply just wanting to know the answer to something, or you're praying for something, I really feel like pray to your angels and your guides, and they will find and give you answers through signs and synchronicities, even repeating numbers. There's a lot of that energy out there, and I definitely feel like they can give you as much as you desire. You know, it's one of those things where the Justice card here shows that you can come to conclusions, right? You can resolve things. You will get there in the end, but it shows the process of it can feel very long and very drawn out. You know what else is so long and drawn out? Court-related issues. It's not a surprise, honestly, that justice has come out. You know, court-related issues or issues to do with the law is just so drawn out. It's like such a drawn out process, and it can feel so anxious, like it can feel so anxiety driven in the moment. It can just feel like so much that it's hard to handle. And so justice here literally shows an energy that is like, you can just feel a lot, you know, to come to a conclusion. It can feel like, whoa, that was a whole process. So that's what I'm seeing there, okay? And judgment here, again, shows decision-making skills. You'll find that majority of this reading is really to do with a lot of that energy. I will get onto some other points and perspectives and things like that as well. Don't worry, it's not just all about you being indecisive. I mean, don't take that as a bad thing at all, because I do feel that it's very, very important, right, to try and consider and make the right decision. It's just in the process of it, it can just feel like, wow, is it really taking me this long to make a decision? But you're trying to process the pros and the cons. You're trying to make the right decision for yourself, but at the end you may just feel like you just want to give up and allow someone else to make a choice for you. But what I would say is, make your own decisions. Don't be afraid of them, because you can use spirituality as a way to make those decisions. I think making decisions for yourself can just be so much power, and many of you do that, but some of you rely on others to make decisions for you, also family members as well. So you may just at times feel out of control, and so that's another thing that can be taken as like a sort of like a worst trait, is that you may feel out of control. You may not feel like you have full control of the things that you want to do sometimes. But what I will say is that, again, with practice in terms of spirituality, meditation, things like that can really, really help you to really regain control of the things that you want in your life, the way in which you want to feel. And I also feel like another thing here that I'm seeing is that you can be quite defensive. You know, you see how these two swords are crossed over in quite a defensive manner. It can at times feel like you're just trying to really be very, very defensive, and you're trying to take control of the situation, which again is not necessarily like, it's not necessarily bad, but it definitely does have sort of its negative, I guess, connotation, where if at times somebody says something to you or you don't like it, or even constructive criticism, you may feel quite defensive and you may feel like, no, I don't want to hear this, and you might block it out. For example, some of you might be watching this reading and thinking, oh, Moonlight, it's true, but I don't really want to listen to this. It's one of those things. Listen, I will say that this is not necessarily like the worst thing in the entire world, okay? You're not like someone that's like really just horrible to people and things like that, okay? It's not that bad. It's not that deep. So I just will say that. And also with the moon crystal, that just makes so much sense. I just literally looked at it and I thought, wow, I feel like you operate from a space and a place in your heart chakra. Like, you are someone that can listen to your heart, and you can just go such a long mile, especially if you listen to your heart and your inner voice, because you've got such a beautiful heart. You understand yourself, you understand others around you, and in all honesty, I do feel that making your own decisions is also you just trusting yourself and trusting your heart as well, which, to be honest, so many of you do make, but I definitely feel that, you know, there can be so much confusion at times in your mind. So just know that you can get to those conclusions, and judgment here shows that you do have spiritual help in order to do so. Judgment also shows here that you have the ability to make very powerful decisions. Okay, decisions that for you can be life-changing on an emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, financial, and social level. You have the huge ability to actually have a lot of social status in your life. Even if you don't have that right now, I really feel, especially with these pentacle cards at the bottom, you have the ability to do that. I say that also in matters of love. as well as career and finances, because literally that's what it shows here, right? 10 of Cups here shows that you have so much love to give. You are a very detail-oriented person. You like things to be in place, you like them to be right, and you essentially like to achieve what you have seen in your vision. That is something that makes you feel fulfilled. And when I feel like you're going to have that in your life as well, I feel like this is so different from any of the other groups, just because I'm feeling a prediction that is happening, where I'm literally showing you hey, if you're worried right now about your life, it is going to turn out in very many ways the way that you've imagined it to be. And sometimes, we can be our worst enemies, but this is really about trusting yourself as well. So the Eight of Pentacles here shows that one of your best traits is that you're super hard working. You put a lot of energy into things. You put in a lot of energy into decisions that you're trying to make, into the work that you're trying to do, into the research that you do, or how you navigate around things as well. Queen of Pentacles shows that you have a beautiful heart. Now, you operate from your heart chakra, which is very obvious from the green that we have. I was also going to talk about the moon, and then I got sidetracked. So the moon crystal here also shows, again, you can feel quite hot and cold sometimes, and you can feel like you don't know what decision to make. You've also got the moon up here, not a surprise, right? So the moon here shows trust your intuition, trust your gut, trust your heart. The best way to really open up your heart chakra is through, I really believe actually, meditation in nature. Because nature is very, very green, and nature is related to the heart chakra. Now, meditation is a way to open up the heart chakra and to really concentrate on the heart chakra. And so nature plus meditation, boom, right? Bada bing, bada boom. It's an amazing, amazing thing. So meditating in nature, as you see with the Queen of Pentacles, she's sitting in nature, feeling so proud, so happy of her accomplishments. And with your male or female, I really do see that you have some amazing accomplishments, and these are not just material things or things in that nature. It's also very much so nature. God, I love those puns. It's also very much so about those sort of mental challenges or difficult times that you've been through in your life that have also been super life-changing. So to me personally, what I feel is this really strong and potent energy that is tied to, what's the word? I've lost my train of thought. It's just, yeah, so, well, I just feel very much so that you have the ability to wear the crown on your head, and you have so much going for you that your process and what you try and do has so much meaning to it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, it is what it is when that happens. But the Six of Pentacles here shows that you are a very balanced person overall, and really I do feel very much so as well, is that you are someone who is so kind and so caring, and you have the ability to really accomplish things that you've really wanted to do. So part of this also stems from your root chakra. Again, there's also very dominant red energy coming through in the cards, a lot of green. I just really feel that your root chakra brings you the stability, and then your heart chakra brings you the fulfillment. And in between that, in between of stability and fulfillment, there can be a lot of answers that need to be, or questions that want to be answered, and that's the bit that can sort of sidetrack you at times. What I would say is sit with your thoughts for a little while, especially if you're trying to make a decision, and let your mind go clear. So again, meditation can really help, but meditation in nature can really boost everything tremendously. And when you sit in that energy, what you'll find is that the answers will naturally come to you. Rather than feeling rushed to make a decision, what can happen is just having a bit of peace and a bit of quiet can really allow you to feel so much more connected to your own personal energy. It can just feel really fulfilling. And so I definitely feel like that's one of the best things to do, is sit with your energy, do you, be you, focus on you, and I just feel like everything then sort of slots into place. So in terms of your three best sort of traits and three worst traits, we know that overthinking is definitely one of those things as well, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing, because overthinking can lead to some really great decisions. What I would say is indecision is one of them as well, and also perhaps at times feeling like you have to be in control of things, or being defensive if someone does give you some kind of constructive criticism. I mean, to be honest, being defensive is not a bad thing, as well. It's a form of protection, but I will say there's some amazing traits that did come through. Part of this is the fact that you really have the ability to think on both sides, and that you go very in depth, like you're very, very, very in depth of a person. Some people just, consider like this and this, and then they make a decision. You go very, very deep into things, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you're like in an industry where you do stuff that is so detail orientated, because that's literally what's coming through. You have the ability to build an incredible life. You're very hardworking. The process can be difficult. The sort of drawn out processes of things can be very difficult, but overall you're very hardworking, you're very mutual to those around you, and you're very giving and caring. And I really feel here that the Queen of Pentacles here shows, be proud of your accomplishments, be proud of yourself. You've come a really long way, you've got a lot going for you, and also it just goes to show that you are someone that really values peace. And so when things get sort of quite chaotic, it shows that you may find it hard to deal with those aspects as well. So yes, that is your reading. But the Ten of Cups shows that you're so loving, and I do feel that you're like a very faithful person, very, very faithful, very kind, very caring, and very sharing as well to those around you, and of course your family as well. So these are your those are the sort of best and worst traits. This is your reading, group number 3. Now, if this resonates with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and do check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, intention items, which are on my Etsy store as well. Definitely do check all of that out. And yes, everything's always in the description box below, and I will see you very, very soon. And now we go to group number 4. Alright, so let's see. Right, so okay, group number 4. This is your reading with me for your 3 best and 3 worst traits. We are gonna see. I feel like you have a lot of facets. Just like a diamond, you've got a ton of facets, you have a ton of qualities, you've got a lot to yourself. So whether we're going to be able to contain this to 3 best and 3 worst is definitely going to be very interesting. I definitely feel naturally a lot of information is going to come through. So just I don't think you should be worried at all. I think that this actually can be very telling. Actually I look at this and I think of sunflower. It's really interesting because this crystal is quite yellow in colour as well. So this is just for decorative purposes, but this is so beautiful. Oh la la. Oh la la. Isn't it ooh la la? Okay, right, so let's have a look and see your best and worst traits. So I definitely feel like you're like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond. Unbreakable, right? Unbreakable. 4 of Wands. It's so typical how I spend so long like centering this, and then, yep, cards got to come in. So, 4 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands. Now, what's really interesting here is this really potently, very powerful energy. Potently, powerfully, okay. I mean, like, what are you doing today? So let's get into it. Okay, 4 of Wands. Now, the number 4 here is quite big, right? This is group number 4. You got the 4 of Wands. You've also got quite a lot of 4s. Well, you've got 2 4s in your timestamp as well, which is 4704. That's the timestamp for this reading. So what I feel as well is that you are very stable. All right, very, very stable. The 4 of Wands here shows stability, and it shows a very core, like a strong core. Now, that could mean something quite physically, like you might physically have a very strong core. But listen, if you don't, I just want you to know that 4s in tarot indicate stability. When you think of a table, When you think of the four walls of a home, when you think about a bed, when you think about cars, right? They're all stable. 4. So to me, what I really feel here is that you have a lot of stability. This is an amazing, amazing trait, right? You know what you want in life. You know exactly how you want to feel in life. You can understand yourself, or at least you're on the path to understanding yourself, which is also important because as human beings, we're always going to change and develop and grow and progress, and it's a natural part of us, right? So to me, one of your best traits here is stability. You want stability, you work hard for stability, you have stability. I know you possess that already, so just want to say that. You're also very, very independent. You understand yourself, and I do feel that you are someone that is not ashamed to spend time with yourself. Like, yes, it can be annoying sometimes when you see people like going out and maybe you're not a part of that, or you see people traveling and you're like, I want to be there. But for the most part, you are independent, right? You like your own energy and your own space. Like, I definitely do feel that from time to time you do think about like, okay, you know, it's nice to be with others, but I feel like you value your own space, and that's definitely coming through here. Like, you can be in your own energy and not feel bad. That's the kind of vibe that I'm sensing here, which by the way is super, super, like, it's really amazing. At the same time, on the flip side, I do feel with the 9 of Wands is that you're very, very, well, I wouldn't actually say it's flip side. I think the 6 of Swords is more the flip side. So let's go to the 6 of Swords first, and then I'll come back to the 9 of Wands. The 6 of Swords here shows that from time to time you may feel emotionally a little bit all over the place, and you may just feel like your emotions are playing tricks on you. I wouldn't say necessarily that this is a negative trait, but you may feel like it's a negative trait, which is why I mention it that way, is you may just feel like, I just want my emotions to all be in one place. I know what I want to feel, right? That's the thing, is you know what you want to feel, but then when you feel something that you don't want to feel, or at least that makes you feel a little bit unstable, it just makes you feel like everything has gone wrong. And that's not the thing, right? Everything has not gone wrong. It's the universe's way of telling you that you're a balanced human being, okay? From time to time, you will go through situations, you go through little challenges and hiccups here and there in life, because that is what life is going to present. It's going to present that to everyone. So just know that you feeling a little bit emotionally out of place is a part of your stability. It's a part that makes you you. Okay, so again, it's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, it's not fun to have emotional instability or to feel sad and upset about things, but it's part of what makes you stable. Because to be stable doesn't mean being happy, happy, happy. You gotta have a bit of rain for the rainbow, right? So the 9 of Wands here shows you're very creative, and you're definitely someone that thinks of plans, and you try to make plans, and at least what it seems to me is that you are someone that sticks with your plans, but also that you can have so many ideas that at times you don't know which idea to run with. So it might be that you come up with so much more, or that you do so much more, that it makes it hard to narrow down on. And I will say that, again, that can be like your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy sometimes, that energy where it's almost like you do so much to the point where you're like, wow, okay, I did a bit too much, now I've got to like revise all of this, I need to cut it down, I need to do less. You know what, this totally reminds me, and I'm going to give you an analogy here because it totally reminds me of this, where, you know how sometimes, and I'll speak about my own personal like experience. When I was at university, we've got to do a dissertation, which is like this really long essay, and dissertations are pretty long, and I just typed so much more than what was necessary, that actually narrowing it down makes it so much harder, which, is absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's one of those energies where it's almost like you do a lot more than is necessary, and then cutting it down is really hard. And again, it can be, just working so hard to the point where you do so much, but then that's not, it's less is required, basically, that it makes you feel like, whoa, okay, actually, less is, I should have just done less to begin with. But actually, that's what makes you you, that you're hardworking, you always try and go above and beyond, and that includes for other people. So you might make lots and lots of plans, but then, someone might let you down, but just note that that is on them, right? It's not on you. The fact that you do so much is actually just goes to prove how good you are karmically, and how much you always do for yourself. So try not to beat yourself up about that too much. Just know that it's not your karma to deal with, okay? If you do so much for people and they let you down, that's their problem. It is their problem. So you got the Three of Cups here, okay? Three of Cups is quite interesting because what I see here is this, I mean, Three of Cups is not necessarily a negative card in tarot. Like, I know a lot of people look at this and they just think, oh my god, third party. It has so many meanings in tarot, but the meaning I pick up here, right, is this sort of like friendship energy. Like, you're someone that can make friends, but I do feel that you can also just feel at times that you find it hard to find like-minded people like yourself. So there are people out there like you, but also it can feel really difficult to find people that think like you, that want things like you do, that understand you, that understand your perspective. Especially with the Hanged Man, this is about perspective, and the Hanged Man is ruled by Neptune. Now, this energy is very specific, this energy is very strong, and the Queen of Cups here is definitely like a really strong perspective in terms of your personal energy. It's also a really, really strong energy that is tied to, like, how do I even mention this? It's basically, right, the Queen of Cups here is tied to your emotions. Like, you are someone that feels your emotions, you live in your emotions, you like your emotions, but then your emotions may feel very overwhelming, right? You see how the Queen of Cups is literally in all blue? I mean, it's the nature of this particular deck that is the case, but this card here really does show that you have so much to give, and that you may at times feel like you overgive, right? You may overdo certain aspects. So that may be something that you feel is just one of your like worst traits. And it is something that I'm seeing where when you give too much, it can also feel like people are overstepping your boundaries, or people are taking everything without even asking, or that they just feel like they can treat you that way. And again, this is on them, okay? This is their karma. This is what they have to deal with. If they do things like this to you, it is their problem. It is their fault. It is not your doing, right? So just know how special you truly are. Know that you have one of the most significant cups in tarot, okay? Queen of Cups really does have like such an opulent cup. It literally belongs in a museum. Like, that's how rare and kind and genuine you are. And the Hanged Man here shows spirituality. Like, you are someone that's spiritual, and the divine is definitely supporting you. The universe is supporting you, because Four of Wands is 11-11. Like, everything that's happening in your life path is definitely happening for a reason. It's there to support you. It's there to give you like really strong energy. It's there to you know, it's there to help you. So the Eight of Wands here is, again, a really strong energy of movement. It's a strong energy of growth. It's a very strong energy of progression and potential and movement. To me, what I feel is that this particular energy is really tied quite strongly to, like, you are someone that always wants to do things. You are someone that wants to be occupied. You like to do things. You like your hobbies, your goals, your dreams, the things that you enjoy to do. And I just feel like this is really lucky. So what I would say is that, you know, you have things that you like to do, which again is really great. There are lots of people that don't know what they want to do. There's a lot of people that, and that's not necessarily bad either. It's just that they don't have their own like sense of self-identity, but I really feel that you do. And again, use that to your advantage, because you know who you are to a degree. You may have found like, oh, I know myself a little bit better now, but actually, you know, it's really about listening to your heart as well, because the Nine of Pentacles is about you, and that's about also operating from your heart chakra. You got a lot of orange here as well, so connecting to that chakra as well is quite significant, because I do feel as well that it's really like, it's very fiery, right? It's very, very progressive as well. You've got a lot of this like fire energy, which shows that your goals and your dreams and aligning to them is something that you can use spirituality for. So definitely connecting to all of your chakras can be such a beneficial thing. Meditating on all of your chakras, but also just spending some good time by yourself in solitude can help so much. And can definitely be really beneficial as well, as I'm literally losing my voice. So overall, right, when I look at your best and your worst traits, you are someone that has the ability to find like-minded people like yourself. If people take away from your energy, or they walk all over you, or they take advantage of you, or take from you, just know that this is their doing, this is their karma to deal with. The Six of Swords here shows emotionally getting yourself to a better place, which basically shows that you are in control of your life, right? Which again is very, very strong and significant. And even the Four of Wands shows that you're on the right path in your life. There's a lot of development, there's a lot of growth here, and also that you should be really proud of yourself and how far you truly have come. The Six of Swords also shows that it's about balance, right? We need that sort of energy in our life to keep us balanced. And essentially you've got just this really like beautiful open heart, but at times you may feel like you give too much, you do too much. or that sometimes you might feel like you are too much, but I don't think that's the case, okay? You can never be too much of a person. It's about finding those like-minded people and also conserving your energy from people that walk all over you, because you might feel that you just give your energy to those people all the time, and you might drain your energy, and that can also be quite negative as well. So it's also about having those healthy boundaries, which you may feel is difficult to at times have, okay? So this is essentially your reading group number 4. Now, if this resonates with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Do check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, and of course my intention items, which are on my Etsy store, as you can see right here. And definitely do take care of yourself as well. And yes, so I will see you very, very soon, hopefully.